Good Tuesday morning and warm welcome to Markkinointikollektiivis Aamukahviseura. I am Janika from Markkinointikollektiivi and I'll be taking care of you today in the chat. You can go ahead and say your greetings there and also tell me where are you opening your webinar lines this morning. I'm saying greetings from Espoo, Finland. In a moment, my colleague Emmi Paunonen will introduce today's guest speaker, Nikolaj Sørensen from cm.com to the stage, and he will share us practical insight on how AI agents can streamline marketing operations. Now I will change the language to Finnish briefly as I'll send greetings from our main partner, myynnin ja markkinoinnin ammattilaiset MMA. Ennen kuin mennään itse aiheeseen, niin pikaiset terkut meidän yhteistyökumppanilta myynnin ja markkinoinnin ammattilaiset MMAlta. MMA-juristitiimin Sanna, Perttu, Tuuli ja Susanna vastaa jäseniltä saapuviin erilaisiin myynnin ja markkinoinnin työelämän kysymyksiin. He ovat varsinaisia lakiagentteja, joiden henkilökohtaista ja yksilöivää palvelua ei voi tekoälyllä korvata. Työsuhdejuristien arvo huomataan usein vasta, kun ongelmia kasvaa ja suurin hyöty syntyykin, kun apua haettaisiin ajossa. MMA-lakiagentit vastaa kysymyksiin täsmällisesti ja ripeästi, ja lisäksi kun jäsenyys on saavuttanut puolen vuoden iän, niin voi siirtyä seuraavalle agenttipalvelun tasolle ja hakea muun muassa oikeusturvaa työsuhteeseen liittyvään riitatilanteeseen. Laitan lisätietoa tuosta chattiin, niin käyhän kurkkaamassa MMA-palvelut. Ja with these words, I will give the stage to my colleague Emmi and Nikolaj at this point, and I will move over to the chat to say greetings to you. So warm welcome, Emmi and Nikolaj, to the stage.
Thank you, Nea, and good morning from me too, from Porvoo, Finland, and welcome, Nico. How has your morning started?
Good morning and hello everyone. Yeah, it's been really good so far. It's still quite early here in Copenhagen and quite dark as well. But it's despite having two small kids at home, it's been a pretty quiet morning. So far so good.
Super. There's a lot of talk about using AI in marketing, and you will soon take us to the world of agentic AI and tell how us marketers can use it to make our mundane tasks a tiny bit easier. But before we dive into that, can you please shortly introduce yourself and tell us how you are related to today's topic?
Absolutely. So I'm working as a senior marketing manager for the Nordics and the Baltics region at Copenhagen or at cm.com. So we're based in Copenhagen. But yeah, on a daily basis, a lot of what I do is connecting marketing to sales, not just between the two functions, but also across markets. And that's by using automation and also AI to at some point drive the efficiency and the growth. So that's exactly what today's session is going to be about.
Yeah, good. I think we're now ready for your presentation. So please go ahead, Nico. The stage is yours.
Yes. So again, good morning, everyone. I'm Nikolaj. It's really good to be here. Today, we are going to talk about how to drive growth and efficiency through agentic AI as marketeers. So some of you might already remember we had also a webinar back in April with the same topic. This is sort of a 2.0 version of it. So it's going to be less about buzzwords and more about what's actually working in practice. So I will try to keep this presentation on about 20 minutes and then leave some time at the end for Q&As. In the chat, I have my colleague Berkant as well, who will be able to also answer questions along the way. Let's go ahead. But before we begin, let's start by looking at how AI is now entering the mainstream. But before we jump any further, let's just quickly set the scene because a lot is happening in the space of agentic AI these days. So agentic AI is changing what we spend time on as marketeers. It's going to free us up from repetitive work. It's going to connect systems that used to live in silos. And it's also going to help us personalize and also act at a scale. So what I'm going to tell you about today, the value in it is speed, it's precision, and it's the ability to create more impact with the same amount of resources that you already have. So agentic AI has moved from experiments to real-world adoption since we spoke last time. So as an example, in June 2025, Shopify, they introduced an agentic AI framework, which is now allowing merchants to automate personalized experiences. And in July 2025, OpenAI they followed up by launching the new ChatGPT agent mode, where ChatGPT can now plan, it can act, and it can connect directly to your tools. So that's a real shift. So AI is no longer just a helper. It's actually becoming a full marketing co-pilot, able not just to optimize, but also to execute. So if you ask me, the question is not if we'll use it, it's how fast we will adapt to it. Okay. So let's just unpack how we got here. So the evolution that made all of this possible. Because to understand agentic AI, we just quickly need to look at how AI has evolved. So it began with predicting, so system that analyzed data to forecast outcomes. Then came the generative part, so the part that can create, and which is also powered by LLMs and diffusion networks and so on. And now we've reached the agentic AI, so the AI that can perceive, reason, and also act on our behalf. So it connects models with tools and data to plan and execute tasks autonomously. So AI has now moved from predicting to creating to acting. So from insights to content to action. So now that we know a little bit more about where AI fits in, let's just talk about what actually changed. Because as you know, generative AI, that's the one that waits for instructions. So you ask it, it answers. With agentic AI, it takes initiatives. It knows your goal, it checks the data, and it will take action. So if generative AI says, I can help you with that, agentic will say, I can take care of that. So imagine an AI that doesn't just write an email draft, but also segments the audience, schedules it, and logs the result in your CRM. Sorry about that. So that's the real shift here. So from generating content to executing strategy. And that brings us to why this matters for marketeers right now. So let's just try to bring it a little closer to home. Because as marketeers, we're constantly being asked to do more with less. Budgets are shrinking, channels are multiplying, and we spend hours connecting data between systems and instead of just creating value. And I believe that agentic AI will help us break that cycle, automating execution, connecting disconnected tools, and scaling personalization without adding extra people. And that's the interesting part. So hear me here. So what I'm saying is that AI or agentic AI is not going to replace you. However, it will give you time back to focus on what actually provides the most value. And that's the most interesting part. Okay, so now that we understand the challenge, let's look at what is actually holding us back. Oh, I forgot to do that. Perfect. So here is the reality that most of us face on a daily basis. So as marketeers, we are juggling tens of tools that don't really talk to each other, 20 different dashboards, and a mountain of CSVs. So each system usually works quite well in isolation: your CRM, your CDP, your analytics, your ad platform. But everything is disconnected, which means they create friction. So the result, that's chaos. It's delays, it's manual handovers, and it's at the end lost opportunities. So let's just quickly look at how we can turn that chaos into structure. Because agentic AI can turn complexity into clarity if you're using it right. So by connecting tools and automating the handovers, it will bring you structure to the noise. Imagine your CRM, your CDP, your ad platform, everything working together in real time. And that's the real shift. So from manual to autonomous. So from chaos to clarity. Okay, I'll just quickly grab some water. Good. So now we have seen the bigger picture. So let's talk about how to actually build one of these agents. Because here's how you should think about it. So when you build your first agent, it's actually like onboarding a new colleague or a teammate. So first, you define its role. So what task does it own? You give it the tools. It could, for example, be an API integration to your CRM, your CDP, or even your email platform. So basically the software that it's using. Then you feed it data. So leads, behavior, preferences. And then last but not least, you set the governance. So the rules and the limits that it must follow. And once those four are in place, yeah, you pretty much have a new digital colleague ready to execute. So let's see what happens when we apply that thinking to real customer actions. So marketing has always been about communication, but most of it is still one way. So we push out messages and then we hope something sticks at some point. Agentic AI will change that. So it doesn't just automate tasks, it's going to open up real two-way conversations. So imagine a lead nurture agent that can qualify prospects automatically and then pass them to sales once they are ready, or even a campaign agent that can continuously create and test creatives and then scale the best performing ones. Everything on its own. Or even a retention agent that can recognize when a customer is about to churn and then reaches out before it's too late. So all of these agents, they listen, they interpret, and they act. So creating communication that feels more like a dialogue than an actual monologue. And I think the best way to see that in action is through our shopping assistant agent. So this agent connects directly with the customer. It understands intent, and it helps them find the right product in real time. So let's take a look. So let's look at how this actually works in a real experience. So this is our club mode demo environment. So what you see here is a shopping assistant agent that reaches out to the customer at the right moment based on predictive data from our CDP. The important part in this is the connection between the chatbot and the CDP. It uses real customer insights pulled directly from the customer profile. It could be things like product preferences, browsing behavior, and perhaps even predicted next purchase moment. So this means that the agent can speak to the customer in a way that feels relevant, and it can at some point also give personalized recommendations. Good. Okay, so that was the customer facing part. So the shopping assistant in action. So now let's take a quick look behind the scenes to see how an agent is actually built. So this is our backend where everything starts. So here you can build a new agent from one single prompt. So first, you define what it should do, what data it can access, and which tools it can use. The system then builds the workflow automatically. It's fast, it's visual, and it only requires a minimum amount of code, which means that it's even better. It's making it accessible for marketeers like you and me, and not just for developers. And that's how easy you can go from an idea to actual execution with agentic AI. So now a final example. So now we have seen agents act in real time, but they can also predict future intent. So this example shows a predictive re-engagement scenario. So the system identifies when a customer is most likely to buy again. So in this case, it's on the 22nd of July, 2025. When that moment approaches, the agent will automatically send a personalized message. It could, for example, be via WhatsApp. It's relevant, it's timely, and it's driven 100% by behavioral data from the CDP. So this is really simple, but it's extremely powerful way to re-engage your existing customers at exactly the right time. So now we have seen what agentic AI can do. So let's just have a look at the bot, and not the one south of your back, but the other one. Because as with any new technology, there are traps and there are lessons. So let's just start with the pitfall. And the first one is over-promising. Because AI is not magic. It cannot fix broken processes or bad strategy. So always start small, prove its value, and then scale. The second pitfall is no governance. So without ownership and clear guardrails, agents drift off and they can lose their purpose. So someone has to guide them. And the third pitfall is low data quality. And this is actually where the classic rule applies. So garbage in, garbage out. So if the data's foundation is weak, the output will be weak too. So if you feed it garbage, you will get garbage back. So now to the learnings. So what we always preach is that always start small, one agent, one KPI. So measure the outcomes, not necessarily the activity. And then integrate, do not isolate. So bring your agents into real workflows and your real tech stack. And this is how we can move from experiments to actual impact. So where do you start? So let's just bring it a bit down to action. So what I always suggest when I speak to customers or other peers is that pick one workflow that eats your time. It could be lead nurturing, it could be reporting, it could be campaign testing, you name it. Pilot that one agent, measure the result, and if it works, then you scale it. And that's exactly how you build momentum. Always one win at a time. Good. So now let's just wrap up with one final thought of mine, because let's just be honest, I'm not here by coincidence, because let's just talk about why this is especially relevant for you guys in Finland. Because you work in one of the most digitally mature markets in Europe. Many of you already operate in organizations where digital adoption is high, data quality is strong, and the customers, they expect seamless and personalized experiences. And all because of that, you are already in an environment where agentic AI can create value faster than most other countries. So you have the infrastructure, you have the skills, and you have the mindset that will make Finland an ideal place to test and scale this technology. And with an e-commerce market that continues to grow, a culture that values trust and precision, Finland is in a unique position to lead the real-world adoption of agentic AI. So, all in all, this is not about Finland in theory, it's about you, and it's about the landscape that you work in every single day. So, that was my final words. Thank you very much for listening. So if you want to try this yourself, you can scan the QR code on the screen. It will take you into our demo environment where you can build your own, in this case, your own agentic voice bot. So a voice bot that you can speak to. I've done it quite a lot of times myself, and it's actually quite funny. But it's a really good way to see what is actually possible with this technology. So give it a try, see what it can do, and yeah, let me know how your first agent performs. So thank you very much again for listening. And now to the Q&A. So I've already received a couple of questions beforehand. So I think, yeah, it's a good idea just to quickly address those before we jump into the questions from the chat, if there are any. So the first question is, what differences are there with different LLM providers like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and so on, and which are most suitable for marketing? So that's a really good question. So different models are strong at different things, but if you ask me, the real impact comes when the model or the tool can integrate with your tech stack, basically. So I think ChatGPT is the strongest today for marketing agents because it can reason, it can plan, and it can execute actions inside your tech stack. Then we have Perplexity, which I think is quite good for research and for fast insights. Then we also have Claude, which I think is quite good for long form writing and yeah, also its tone of voice. And then last but not least, Gemini, which is also quite good, but it's most useful if your tech stack or your daily work is connected to or deeply connected to the Google ecosystem. So if your goal is to build agents that actually do work for you and connect to your CRM, your CDP, or your communication channels, I think ChatGPT is most doable today. So I hope that answered the question. So now to the second question. Can you give examples of how to use AI agents in marketing that doesn't generate instant and measurable profit slash sales statistics, but rather enforces place branding or the image of a city or municipality? And yeah, absolutely. So not all AI agents are built for sales. So for city branding or municipality communication, I think the real impact comes when the agent is connected to your existing systems. It could, for example, be a citizen service agent that can answer questions about public services by pulling information directly from your knowledge base. Or perhaps a reputation agent that can communicate ongoing city initiatives by connecting to your web content or your communication channels. So yeah, the value here is not profit necessarily, but it's more about trust and clarity and also accessibility for citizens and so on. So yeah, I also hope that answers the questions. So yeah, that was the questions I prepared for today. And yeah, I don't know if we have any in the chat as well.
Yes, thank you, Nico. That was super helpful. And we will share the slides with everyone. And please connect with Nico in LinkedIn so you can continue the discussion there. And yes, we have a few questions from the audience. The first one is that do you have experience creating AI agent for social media community management?
Not personally, but I know a few customers who has of ours. I don't have a concrete example I can share right now, but feel free to reach out to me, and then I can look a little bit behind the scenes and share our experience with that.
Good. And you talked about where to start using agentic AI, and to clarify kind of what data is needed to start using agentic AI.
That's actually a really good question. So what we see, I think it depends on the actual purpose of the agent. So for example, if it's let's say a customer-facing agent, the example I used with the shopping assistant, it will need data from, for example, your customer CRM. So it could be, or your CDP. So it could be behavioral data. So how are they browsing on your website? What are they preferences when it comes to in this case clothes? So as much data as possible, but I think it's also really important to emphasize that it's very much dependent on the purpose of the agent.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have a question from the audience. What are your thoughts about MS Copilot?
Ooh, that's a hot potato, let's say. Personally, I don't use it. I think there are still room for improvement, let's say, just to be, let's say, just a little political correct here. But yeah, I still think that there are improvements to be made. And even though that, it's working as a sort of a fully integrated AI function within the MS suite, in all honesty, I'm not convinced that it's the best option on the market right now.
Yeah, that's fine. And then the last question from the audience. What do you think? Can AI be used to process numbers, for example, to figure out averages, medians, and reference values?
I'm not sure I understand that question. Can you repeat it again?
What do you think? Can AI be used to process numbers, for example, to figure out averages, medians, and reference values? And then we actually have another comment on the chat about this, that according to the colleague, AI cannot be used for calculations. So, yeah.
Yeah, then that's the answer.
Yeah. All right. Hello, Nea.
Hello, thank you, Nikolaj, for inspiring morning and great tips, and thank you for the chat, for the great questions we had in there. I'm here to tell you what's happening in Aamukahviseura next time, and we will switch back to Finnish for a bit. Ensi kerralla Aamukahviseuran linjat aukeaa vuoden viimeisessä Aamukahviseurassa 2.12, kun aiheena on Canva. Eli otetaan katsaus Canvaan tarkemmin Story by Sara Kuusivuon johdolla, ja siellä mennään syvemmin sitten Canvan maailmaan. I hope to see you next time as well, and you will receive a feedback survey in your email from this morning, so it's really nice if you respond to it. And I would like to hear from Nikolaj some greetings for the audience from this morning.
Yeah. So again, kiitos everyone. That was the one that stuck with me while I was in Helsinki. It's been a really great morning. So thank you very much, and I hope to be back again at some point. So thank you.
Thank you. We also hope to see you again, and everybody at the audience. So yeah. Let's continue the Tuesday from this on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.